Here's the rack from the deer that I shot, 28 inches. This is kind of a good deer for this because the antlers aren't quite symmetrical at all. Your eyes stick out too far and it looks like your deer got kicked in the nuts. Taxidermy is Bondo and Bondo is taxidermy. Hopefully now you'll have some of the tools that took me years to acquire to mount your own critters. Hey everybody, welcome back to how to mount a whitetail deer. This is part 3. We're going to Bondo ears today. Now, Bondoing ears is kind of scary because there's really no going back once you get started. So I suggest doing one ear at a time, and I'm gonna just show you how to do them. So they are completely turned, all the veins pulled. I do have a few relief holes in the tips and around the edges of the ears that you can see so that Bondo and air can go out, but they're not too big to where they're just gonna leave gaping holes. You might hear a little bit extra noise. I have the window open. Bondo does stink. Now I use Bondo and a fabric ear liner from Masterclass because I leave a gap around the edge of the ear liner and the actual edge of the deer's ear, and I'll show you that when we get to it. And then I fill that gap with Bondo, and that just lets me really do a nice crisp ear. And then I can do ears ahead of time rather than putting them in the hide with hide paste, making sure the ear liners fit exactly. It's a little bit faster, honestly, in my opinion, and I get a better result. You can do it a bunch of different ways, but this is how I do it. And use red hardener right here, red hardener, okay? Don't use blue hardener. Red hardener, don't use blue. You can see blue through the skin. Don't do that, red. So here's the ear liner, and we'll just get going. And these are 200 WTs, and they're straight from Masterclass. So I just pull that staple out of there. I cut a hole in the ear here so that there's relief. Go in the other direction so I can push Bondo this way and it doesn't get trapped in the end of this. Don't cut too much of this off because I build ear butts. I build ear butts next to this, and then that will actually, it'll anchor into the ear butt so that it dries stiff and hard. So my first step is, you got your ear liners ready, is I take paper towels and I just squeeze the skin of the ear because I just find it takes longer if you use the blow dryer if you don't do this. So I just squeeze out the skin, get as much moisture out as I can before I turn the ears the correct way. So we just roll them up, squeeze out the water. Okay, we got that done. I just keep that so when I'm wiping my hands later, it's a little bit cleaner. Now we turn the ears the right side out here. Get out all the sawdust and just junk that's in the ear. Turn the other one. Same thing, there's just hair and sawdust in there. And these get tumbled at the tannery, so it's all just from that. Give it a good shake, get it all loose. Do the other one. Okay, same thing. I just take paper towels and I just continue to kind of dry it, and you'll see in a second why I do this. Just takes so long to do this with a blow dryer if it's all wet. I just kind of do it like that, clean it up. Now I do use my wife's hair dryer. You could use your wife's too. I suggest you clean it up before you put it back up there. Otherwise you're gonna get your ass chewed. So, we don't like that. Now, I mount this. I'm gonna turn the deer because I like mounting it facing me so I can see, you know, the edge as we go. So the next step is just to dry the ear. So we're gonna do that right now. It's gonna get a little noisy, so I'll probably just turn the audio off so I won't be talking much through this. When I do this, I use you could use hot air. I'm going to use hot air on low. Don't overdo this. Actually, we're going to go on high. All right, so once that's done, you'll know that the hide is ready to go when it just kind of changes color, and it's kind of just, I don't know if you could tell. It's still pliable. It feels kind of moist yet, but it's not too dry. You don't want to get it too dry. So now take the ear, get all the skin in there, and just kind of give it, remember which one you sewed up. Now I believe it was the other one I sewed up. Yeah, this one doesn't have any holes in it. Give it a gentle stretch, just kind of bring that natural ear shape back out. When you dry it, it shrinks a little. And you just want to kind of give it a gentle tug in all directions. Kind of bring that ear shape back up. Now you'll take your ear butt, and this is the deer's right ear, and you're going to slide it into the ear where it should go. Push the tip all the way in, and now take the, we call this the apex at the shop. I don't know if that's the correct term or not. Right here, where the ear canal is, I got my finger in it, and you'll feel this top leading edge. Get all your hair aligned. You'll get all your hair aligned here, and just kind of push that top leading edge down. And then once that's all in there, you'll get a sense of how much ear liner is in the ear, and if you have to, make any adjustments by cutting some ear liner out. And you'll tell by it'll be too tight and the skin won't push down all the way to the fabric ear liner, and that is bad. That will cause drumming in the future, and you've all seen that where the ears are, like the hair is popping out of the ear. It's not good. The ear should stick to the ear liner, and it should stay there forever. So you'll get this looking like this. That looks beautiful, right? Yep. But I can tell that it is tight. There's some play in there, like it's not sitting all the way. There is extra skin here. You can see how it folds. I don't know if I can show you. See how it folds back? That's okay. So it's tight from here all the way to here. So take it back out. And you trim it. So I was tight from here to like there. And you'll get a sense for how much you need to cut off as you learn how to do this. So that's what, 1/4 inch almost in some spots, and it just kind of taper it on the ends. Okay, throw that, don't need that. Throw it back in. Give it another test fit. Start with the apex, get that rounded in there, then get that top leading edge rolled over. The hair should sit in and kind of point in. It shouldn't point out. You'll know because the hair lays how it's supposed to, and if the hair doesn't lay how it's supposed to, then you have the skin in the wrong position. So, we have 0 tightness, and I have about an 1/8 inch or more between the ear liner and the actual skin, which is perfect because I need a spot for my Bondo to go. That area there will get tucked in, and that will be our ear shape right there. Looks beautiful. Okay, so what you're gonna do is do that for, oh, forgot this. So once that's ready to go, I actually take some sandpaper and I scuff the inside of the ear. I scuff the inside of the ear here so that the Bondo sticks to this, because if it's shiny, I don't like it. Maybe this is an extra step, unnecessary, but I do it. So I just take that shine off just so it gives the Bondo something to really set into. And I also, okay, that's done. I also work the edge just to give it a nice transition. So it's nice and smooth, there's no big pieces hanging it up. Okay, so that's our ear. This one is prepped and ready to go. I'm gonna do the other side, and then we'll get to putting Bondo in. Now that you have both ears dried, you've got your fabric ear liner kind of ready to go, so trimmed. I take the shine off with a little sandpaper. They're test fitted, everything's ready to go. I advise against, hot tip, don't take them out and put them down and around. Kind of keep them where they belong. Okay, I watched one person one time switch ears, and we fixed it, it was a problem. So next part is doing one ear at a time, let's get some Bondo in them. So you'll open the Bondo can. Now the Bondo stinks, it's ripe, it burns your nose. So I have a window open because it's pretty wild. But, you know, taxidermy is Bondo. And Bondo is taxidermy. So I take out as much as I need. Bondo's expensive, you don't want to overdo it. That's probably plenty for the ear that I'm doing. If you can see that, that's the amount of Bondo I have. And it's just a thin layer on the inside, outside, just to hold it in place. So I'll set that down. I'm gonna put the cap back on this because, like I said, it stinks. The faster you get it in the ear, the less it's gonna smell. Now, the hardener. Mix this up first. I didn't really do that. So give this a squish, mix it around. I don't use it too often, so it kind of gets liquidy and crappy in some areas. Now, make sure you use enough Bondo, or enough hardener. You don't wanna, oh, see, this is like really liquidy. Maybe, what in the hell? That is not how I want this to look. That's taxidermy, always an issue. Why is it like that? I don't particularly know. Because it sat a long time? Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. It's a little firmer. It's still kind of not set. Can't even get the damn cap back on. So that's way too much hardener. So what I'm gonna do is use this, and I'm just gonna daub up the wet stuff because we don't need that in there. That's still way too much, but it's gonna be okay. So mix this together, and you're gonna hear my table squeak. So mix this together. Now, once this is mixed, you have a set work time, so you have to work fast. This isn't a, you know, get it ready to go and sit around and, you know, take your time. You need to move. And you're putting it on the leather, and it's, you want to just take your time with this. So, I'm going to do one ear at a time. I start on the back, and I just kind of push it forward, like so. Okay. You can get that on there. The back isn't as important as the front for getting like complete coverage, but there you go. I got that covered. Now I use this, start up here on the inside and pull it down to the tip. Now, because I didn't have a lot of extra gapping between the skin and the liner, I'm not gonna go like super overboard and use too much, because you need the Bondo to fill that gap. So now that we got our Bondo on, everything's covered, in the ear we go. And you just kind of push this on and roll it like a sock, backwards, just get it in. Now, step number one is just like test fitting, is get that apex into the right spot. So get the skin rolled around and into the right spot. Okay? And then just give it a general shape. Okay, general shape's done. So that is pushed in tight, and you just work yourself around and just tuck the hair in how it just looks naturally and how the hair flows. You can see that leading edge is nice and crisp. That's how we want to leave it. And then take the inner Bondo, don't squeeze too hard, but just work it towards the tip. Now I can feel it at the tip of the ear. Then I turn it and I start working it down towards the bottom of the ear. Just so we have enough in there. I can feel it, I'm working it, see it come out the bottom. I'm working the Bondo down the edge, all the way to the tip. And I have like just the right amount in here so it's not gonna come oozing out. And just kind of slowly work it. Transitions are key, so you really make sure that you're, now I work the back, make sure that those channels are all tucked in and there's not just chunks of Bondo. There's grooves back there, you'll see them when you get the liner in your hand. Now, essentially what you're doing is just making sure the hair sits nice, because if the hair sits nice, the skin's in the right spot. So, I don't know how much work time I have, but we've got that top edge in. This is looking nice. That's looking, oh, and we're setting already, which is probably a little fast for maybe what you guys would do, learning. But I've done so many that like we're golden. That's the ear. Boom. Now as it hardens, I go in and I pinch off these pieces that come out. You'll see them, and I really flatten that edge out to give that ear a really nice crisp edge on the top and the bottom. There's a little bubble there. Just like that. Then I take a brush you can use this brush here. Usually I use a smaller one, but I don't have one right now. And once it's hard, you could work the edge just to make sure you get all the little crumbly pieces of the Bondo that come out. Like there's a couple here. You just work it. And I hold it. You know, with this hand I'm working close. I'm not pushing, you know, hard enough to where it's going to turn over and like bend my freshly made ear. But as I'm combing, you can see the hair sitting very nice. Very nice, crisp ear. And I'll now, before it gets too hard in here, I kind of turn it back a little bit because my ear butt goes in here. And then I'll take these pieces, scrape them off too, because you don't want that all causing problems later. Okay. So that is one ear done. Easy enough. I was gonna cut the camera and maybe just do 2 segments of this, but that's only 16 minutes or 8 minutes long. So we're going to, this hardener is weird. It's just really watery. So I'm gonna Bondo another one, just so you can see the example twice instead of, and you'll see the other ear rather than going backwards and re-watching the video. So we're just gonna do another one. Like I said, use red hardener, do not use blue hardener. Like you'll see, like it gives the ear a nice tone to it in there when you use the red rather than the blue. Now, and you do need to use a little bit of hardener. You can't just use, like if you use too little, that ear's gonna pop and then you're gonna end up having to use resin and inject that ear, which is gonna suck. So make sure you make it hard enough. Put enough hardener in there so that it sets and you don't run into any problems. So let's do ear number 2. Just mix it right here. It's not running freaking hardener all over the place again. There we go. That's much nicer. Much more better. Okay, mix this up so all the gray is gone. Really flatten it out. Okay. Like I said, we don't waste any time when we do this. You want to maximize your time with the liner inside the ear so you can put the Bondo in the right spot before it gets hard on you and you get yourself in trouble. Okay, so there's that. Now we do the inside. Start up top. Work it down to the tip. You can see that in there. Okay. And that one went a little quick last time, so this one might, I put a little less hardener in there. You can kind of see the color difference between the two. But same thing. Your first order of business is to push this apex of skin all the way up into where it needs to be. And then start with that leading edge on top and push that into the ear liner. So you get a nice crisp edge. And pull down there. See the Bondo coming out the tip? That's perfect. That's what you're looking for. And you get the bottom in. This is a feel thing. Like I said, I've done thousands of these. There's a little bit of Bondo in there. It's just kind of floating around. You know, the reason I like to use Bondo is it's really, customers are kind of hard on stuff. So I'm always thinking that they're going to break things or their kid's going to throw a toy and it's going to hit the ear. These are the most fragile part, in my opinion, on the deer. Oop, there's a big bubble. That's why we make relief holes. So you just build them strong, you know, don't, and build them pretty, but build them strong. Okay, get the back where those little grooves are. Gives your ear a nice shape to it. Okay. Now, roll that in. Check that top edge again. Feel it out. It's looking really pretty. Now, a good way to check your work is to pull up the other ear, hold them side by side, and just kind of give yourself a comparison on what you need to do to make a match. But they're looking pretty nice. Feels like we're getting hard. Another hot tip is if you can check the hardener that's left, or the Bondo that's left, to see if it's getting hard or not. It's getting a little stiff. So now I'm really gonna start working it into that nice edge I'm looking for. Start pulling off pieces that are crappy. Remember, this whole thing we're trying to avoid is the crispy bacon ear, okay? We don't want the crispy bacon ear. They look terrible. I see too many crispy bacon ears. Okay, you pinch that off. You're just pinching those off. Pinch that piece off. They're just kind of crumbling out of there. So this, yeah, that's hard. So there's no more moving it. It is what it is. Looks beautiful. Now, like I said, hold the edge and you can just kind of brush out the rest of the stuff. Extra Bondo that's in there that's falling out. Don't use too stiff of a brush here. This is a pretty, like I can run my finger on it. Comb it. There you got it. You got two ears. Boom, boom. They look great. Bondo ears. It's a little frightening at first. But once you do a few, it's not so bad. And these are built to last. Like these ears are solid. They're not gonna get bunged up. Okay. So the next part doesn't matter. Oh. Okay. We'll brush out the rest of that. There's some stuff there. Now remember, I turn it back a little and I brush out the edge that goes against the clay. So there you have it. Those are Bondoed ears. Simple as that. Now at this point you could just roll this hide up and put it back in the freezer if you didn't have any time rest of the day to like get the hide ready or whatever to mount the deer. Perfectly safe. Let this sit for probably another half hour, 45 minutes before you roll this up and put it back in the freezer. Really let that Bondo set. But I am going to just roll right into the next part and work on the hide prep while I have it out because I have some time today. Thanks for watching.